Today on Exploring Limitations, we're gonna take the humble TR-505 and ask, can you spice it up with some crunch? Here we go. People have a love-hate relationship with the Roland TR-505. It doesn't swing, and its sounds are very limited. But it's precisely those limitations that inspire me to try and muck up the sound. And today we're using the Nate Mendel Dual Bass Overdrive by Ashdown to do some good old-fashioned mucking. Without getting too deep into it, drums have a long history of being distorted, both purposefully and accidentally. I grew up in the Detroit area, and those Motown sounds were implanted into my DNA. Check out Uptight by Stevie Wonder, originally released in 1966. There's lots of saturation and overdrive on this track. The bass is even more overdriven than a typical Motown track. Baby, everything is alright. I can't beatbox. Point being is that I like this sound, so let's get inspired by distorting these drums today. I'm going to record the same beat, 16 bar thing, 3 times. Once with no added distortion, just naked over here on the Tascam. A second time with some light overdrive from the pedal that I'm using here. And a third time where I go completely overboard with overdrive and slam it as hard as I can. Later, we'll add some instruments around each of those drum beats to hear it in context of a mix. But for now, let's get straight into the drums. So here we are. And before we get started, I want to quickly show you how much range this Ashdown Overdrive pedal has. Let me just turn some knobs. Off. Nice! Now I'm gonna record a beat clean and play it back for you. We're interested in the sound after it gets onto the tape. There's always some kind of saturation that happens. So I'll play it, but I'll probably edit this video to just play back from the tape. So here we go. Cool. Now that should have sounded familiar if you're familiar with the 505 and 4-track recording. But let's do the same beat with some light crunching from this pedal. Yes! I dig, you dig, we gonna crunch the drums. Now let's get nasty and potentially push it too far with the overdrive. On a side note, how will you ever know if it's too far if you don't push it there? So let's go. I'm gonna record it and then we'll go back and listen to it. Heavy distortion on the drums. Let's do it! That was nasty. Maybe not in a good way either. So, that was that. Pretty cool. Those were the drums. Off camera, I'm gonna record some instruments on top of that. And we'll come back and hear how they sound in a mix. Okay, off camera, I just added a bass and a guitar part to these drums. And I performed them as best of my abilities the same way each time, and the drums will sound different. Go from clean to slightly saturated to that super distorted thing. So let's listen to the clean drums mix. Nice! Now let's hear the mix with the drums on light overdrive mode. Here we go. And lastly, here we go with the nasty sounding super overdriven drums in a mix. Well, there you have it. Let me know in the comments section which mix you preferred, clean drums, slightly saturated, or super heavy. And let me know if your opinion changed from when you heard the drums solo versus when you heard them more in context interacting with other instruments. Context is everything in recorded music. No one ever hears a soloed part in a mix, and they will never, ever care. I personally dig that middle of the road, that slightly saturated drum kit, especially on the 505. It lengthened the snare hit. That's kind of one of my favorite snare sounds. Is like, I like dirty drums. Dirty, 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 dirty. What can I say? Well, I hope that this was helpful, inspiring. I hope all you 505 enthusiasts out there are getting ideas. And I would love to hear from you if you've got any cool things that you do with the 505 directly. I know people mod it, change it, but I'm interested in the people who are using it as straight out of the factory, because I think there's still a lot that can be done with this machine when you've given yourself this little box to put yourself in. Who knows what you can do? And that's the point of this channel. Please go check out my music on Bandcamp, or scroll through this YouTube channel and find some of the videos that I've done in the past of original music. Otherwise, share and let me know anything in the comments section. I'm very attentive down there, and I love having conversations with all of you. There's a great community building here, and I'm very, very much appreciative of that. So, with that, as always, peace, and be good to each other. Neato mosquito, heffalumps and woozles. I think we're good to go.